All right, something we're going to play around with is we're going to move the swing assessment into a VO2 max step assessment. And a couple reasons we're doing this. The main reason is that VO2 max is one of the greatest predictors of longevity capability, right? So having the ability to maximally intake and export oxygen, right, kind of tells us a lot about our health. With strength standards, that's another one. You know, things like body fat percentage, resting heart rate. These are all kind of in this family of things that can give us solid predictors of longevity and the quality of longevity, to be specific, right? So we're going to go to a step test assessment, which is going to give us some data around a predictable, repeatable VO2 max, right? So this is one style of doing it. Now, 100% true VO2 max is like, you know, in a lab with a thing in your mask, but there's been several people who've made some very standardized testing that is very close to those lab results. And step test, which we do a lot of stepping anyways, is something that's going to work great for being in studio and something that we can repeat with predictability, okay? Everyone will be on 4 risers or 4 plates. The standard for this is 16 inches. And then, so no matter who you are, you're doing 16 inches. Now, I didn't make that number up. That's just what this specific test requires to be consistent, right? So 16 inches, and then there's going to be a cadence for your stepping. And you're going to step on the beep. We're going to have a metronome going, and it's going to tell you when to step. So it's going to give you beep, 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 beep. And all you got to do is just hit the beeps. You're going to get jacked up once or twice. Don't worry about it. Just try to stay as quick on those peeps as possible. Okay, peeps. Now, we're going to have, it's a 3-minute step. And this is not a how fast can I go assessment. It's not max heart rate assessment. This is a step test at a certain cadence that may feel hard, it may feel easy, it may feel medium, it may feel super hard, it may seem super easy. It's going to change per person. You're going to do that for 3 minutes. At the end of that 3 minutes, you'll stop, and then you're going to need to have some way to record heart rate. So if you have a Whoop, if you have a Whoop and you have your phone out, if you have a MyZone and a TV on, if you have a heart rate monitor in your own app, if you have an Apple Watch with the heart rate on it, whatever tracker you have, bring it in, and it'll be helpful. If not, you can go super old school, stop, find your pulse, and then count, and we'll have the counter going, and you'll count for 15 seconds. So 1, right? I'm going to count for 15 seconds, and then times that by 4, because 15, 30, 45, 60. That number, right, I'm going to put that into a little calculator, and it's going to spit out this VO2 max number. We're going to have charts out. They're going to show you what those numbers mean. We're going to have links to that app. The instructor's going to have it. The computer's going to have it. So all you have to do, what you're responsible for as a student, is to get that number, write it down. Heart rate was blank at the end of 3 minutes. That's all you got to do. And then after that, there's going to be some ways that we can figure out how to put that into the calculator. Either you or yourself, plug it in the computer, find an instructor, lots of ways to do it. Now, what's going to be unique about the step assessment is that this protocol requires that females do one pace and males do another pace. Don't know why, don't ask. It's just the way it's done. It's predictable. That's what they figured out was the most consistent with the data. So we're going to have 1 3-minute block of female only. Take a 60-second-ish break. We have 1 3-minute block with male only for that data to be consistent, for the beeps to be consistent. Because we want to predictably repeat this in the future to see if we're improving, staying the same, or not, right? Now, the other thing is, if we can't maintain the pace on the 4 risers, we're going to take either a mental note or physical note of when that happens. So if I'm doing my beeps, and all of a sudden I'm like, golly, I can't keep up that pace. Or if I get slower, right, I'm like, okay, it's at minute 1, that I need to go to my own pace just to keep stepping. I'm still going to just keep stepping. I'm not going to go faster than the beeps because that's why I'm going slower. But I'm still going to write down my number so that it says hit 130 beats per minute at end of 3-minute assessment. Now, the calculator part and the VO2 max won't apply now, but it definitely will be an ability for you to say, oh, I can see what my heart rate was after 3 minutes of stepping at blank pace and then just not that pace, right? So that in the future, you can say, oh, well, I did it for 2 minutes instead of 1 minute, and my heart rate was the same. Or I did it for 3 minutes, I finished the assessment, and my heart rate was the same or lower. That's measurable for you to know I have an improvement in my ability to intake and export oxygen, or carbon dioxide if you want to get super geeky about it, right? But basically, the amount of oxygen you can pull in, okay? So note that if there's a mechanical, like I get to a point of fatigue where I cannot pick my foot up, right? Depending on where you are in the room, you can either put a plate underneath you. We'll have extra stuff out so that you shorten it. Or if you have like 4 plates, you just take that top plate off and then keep stepping. Either way, you want to note that. Hey, at minute 1, went to 3 plates, kept pace up. Heart rate was 128 at the end. And then next time you do this, you have something to compare it to in the future, right? So that is going to be the VO2 max step-up assessment. We're going to have a bunch of graphs on the wall that are going to give you what that data means for your age group and for sex. So you can go, oh, that's where I'm at. That may be something, man, I really need to work on some like more hybrid days or some more extra conditioning outside of sessions. Or, man, I don't need to work on that because I'm already in a good space. So what I'm doing now is working. And that's a good, like, when we're talking about health and longevity, that's a really important thing to look at VO2 max because we're already assessing things like grip strength, the ability to deadlift, the ability to get ourselves off the ground and get up. All that is like kind of accumulating into this idea of like how well am I going to be able to move throughout the rest of life for however long I want to move through life. Questions? Okay, we'll put that link in here as well if you want to creep on it. And the greatest thing about this is that all you need is a 16-inch step, a metronome, and something to track heart rate so it can be done in and out of studio, right? Which is cool.